This is my Mod 6 case study over internet use violation. What do I know? I know this is a very affluent area. That's a very prestigious school. Miss Walker is a second year teacher, is a very demanding teacher of a tough class that can cause stress to students. Um, it seems as Miss Walker has trouble having positive interactions with students and applying stress reducing techniques, which has been talked to her about. Ms. Walker received an email that led to a website judging her with vulgarity and a vague phrase to which she felt as a death threat. The phrase was, "Who wants Miss Walker to disappear?" That's what was used. Miss Walker is now in panic mode, and Miss Walker has identified Randy Franks as her suspect. What do I need to know? Is there any other incidents that I am not aware of between Miss Walker and students? Who is responsible for the website? Who is behind the phrase in question? Was there any malice behind the perceived threat? Is there a history of any student enrolled that has a history of computer violations or threatening behavior? Identifying the problem. A website including vulgar and threatening comments towards Miss Walker has been created. Miss Walker's rigorous class and lack of positive interactions may have been the trigger for the website. Her rigorous class and lack of positive relationships with the students are not the issue here, although the created website is. Her classroom issues will be dealt with on a separate occasion. The plan of action, steps and strategies. First off, notify the law enforcement of perceived threat in order to calm down Mrs. Walker. Maybe also avoid any liability issues down the road if something was to arise. Assuming the police will not be investigating this issue, just filing a report, then we will hand over any information that we find that the police want to know about from the actions here that we take in our investigation. We will notify the head of technology to find out what can be done to figure out the email origin and or the website origin. We will meet with Miss Walker in the morning to discuss the plan of action and any details that may have been remembered over the night. We will meet in I not we I will meet individually with each student in her class without Miss Walker in the room. If any suspicious details arise in these meetings, then a call to the parents will be made and possibly another meeting with the student and or parents. We will then continue investigating this through interviews, and hopefully the technology aspect of this investigation will come through with something substantial. What's best for all students? A thorough investigation by talking to all students and not focusing in on one person or a group of students is necessary to promote the success of all students. Limiting the talks can lead to more division between the teacher and students and or parents in an already volatile situation. If we were to only interview a certain amount of students, those students could feel picked on, and if they are innocent, then they could feel like they're being pushed into a corner and being told that they're bad students. And I'm sure the parents would not like that. And there's already hostility, it seems, between the parents, students, and the teacher. So we want to limit this by interviewing everybody and thoroughly. Leaving the current technology policy intact is best for promoting the success of all students. Since this website could have been and most likely made outside of school, then any filters or any other internet restrictions seems unnecessary and would have a negative effect on the students. Taking away from students to borrow something that was not done while at school seems to be acting in haste and just takes away even more from what the students can do while at school. Takes away from their learning and their progress. Appropriate uses of technology can also be taught in school to teach how negative uses can have major impacts on life. Teaching students what is considered wrong and how it can affect a person is best for promoting the success of all students. Students just don't understand what impact negative use of technology can have. You can see that through their own social media uh, sites, through Twitter and Facebook and anything else. They will post the most random and sometimes obscene language and vulgar language and pictures on those sites, not understanding um, the consequences of their action. Um, so being taught this is something that could be very necessary for these kids. What was I thinking? I was first thinking that I need to talk to Miss Walker and get more information on this issue. I was also thinking that this issue can go two ways. Either it's a mean-spirited prank or it's a serious threat. I was also thinking that I need to make sure I do everything I can to make sure Miss Walker feels safe. I was also thinking we have several ways to find the culprit. What was I feeling? I was first I was feeling like if this was a true threat, then why am I the first person you have called? I would believe the police would be the first person Miss Walker would have called if she felt it to be a true um, death threat. My initial feeling was that this was a mean prank from a disgruntled student or students. Um, I felt that with the proper investigation, the guilty would be found and this would all be dealt with. What was I valuing? First and foremost was Miss Walker's safety, a thorough investigation, and using all resources to find the guilty. Um, Also following steps to ensure every bit of information has been given to me, and also not blaming the victim. Miss Walker's classroom issues are not the problem here. The website and threat is. Her classroom skills are to be dealt with, but on a separate occasion, not at this moment. Unresolved issues. Who created the website? Who posted the threat? Who emailed the link? Is the threat credible or a prank? How did I act with integrity? I demonstrated a sense of integrity by making sure I listened to Miss Walker and her concerns. I did not just blow her off or give her half answers. I made sure to use all resources to help find proof of guilt by using the head of technology and their expertise and any other form necessary, no matter the last name of the child. We interviewed everybody. We did not care who you are. We made sure that everybody was questioned and we could figure out the guilty party. How did I act with fairness? I acted with fairness by interviewing all students individually instead of only a few students. This stopped anyone feeling as if they were thought of as guilty because of who they are. I used investigation and proof to try to find the guilty rather than a student's history and personal feelings towards a student. I also listened to all of Miss Walker's concerns and acted accordingly. How did I act ethically? I kept the information to the people who needed to know. Private and confidential information was not spread. I did not rush to judgment on any student, and I did not place blame on Miss Walker's teaching style for the issue at hand.